This is the GIS Evening Report for Monday, May 13th, 2024. I am Christian Mitchell. In the headlines, Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell calls for inclusivity in promoting a digital economy for Africa and its diaspora at 3i Summit in Ghana, and government set to acquire building in St. David for agro-processing plant. We'll have details to these stories and more after the break.
Climate change is real, bringing hotter days and less rain. Less rain means less water, so it's crucial for us to conserve water at home. When washing my vehicle, I use a bucket with rainwater that I have stored. This is how I save water. What are you waiting for?
Welcome back. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell encouraged world leaders, investors, and stakeholders at the 3i Africa Summit in Ghana to collaborate and unlock the potential of Africa and its diaspora in boosting significant change within the digital economy. The summit, organized by the Bank of Ghana and the Development Bank of Ghana, convenes world leaders to discuss the future of fintech, which involves the use of technology to deliver financial services. According to Prime Minister Mitchell, fintech is not only about technology, but about building solutions that uplift populations and businesses while protecting the vulnerable. He said the summit is crucial in driving meaningful change towards a technologically inclusive future.
The tiny island of Grenada stands with Ghana in recognizing the vital importance of this summit's themes: innovation, investment, and impact. These principles are fundamental pillars upon which we must build our future. In a rapidly evolving fintech landscape, this summit is a crucial opportunity to harness our shared knowledge and purpose to drive meaningful change. We recognize that the convergence of innovation, investment, and impact presents a unique opportunity to reshape our economies and our societies.
Prime Minister Mitchell calls for cross-border partnerships to unlock the potential of fintech. He outlined some of the benefits that await countries in an innovative, impactful, and investor-friendly future.
By fostering partnerships and learning from each other, we can collectively unlock the potential of fintech to address issues like access to credit, reducing the unbanked population, and streamlining cross-border transactions. The challenge of our unbanked population in Africa and the diaspora stems not only from the colonial patterns of banking and financing, but even from modern-day dictated policies from countries in the West. In the Caribbean, for example, many of our citizens are unbanked because it is actually impossible to open a bank account. Whether it's anti-money laundering policies that are imposed on you, anti-terrorist financing policies that are imposed on you, and a host of other regulations that are dictated to you. By forging partnerships across borders, here on the continent and beyond, we can tackle challenges like regulatory alignment, digital literacy, and cybersecurity. These are not isolated issues, but are global ones that require unified solutions.
The Global Summit concludes on May 15, 2024. In a bid to bolster agricultural processing capabilities, government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, is prepared to acquire a building at Lacolome St. David to establish an advanced agro-processing plant. This follows a recent evaluation of the building by Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Alva Brown, and technical officers. The building, which previously housed a pharmaceutical business, was abandoned for more than a decade. Recognizing the potential of this infrastructure, the government aims to repurpose it to support the island's agro-processing sector. The envisioned agro-processing plant will not only provide modern facilities, but also offer comprehensive support to local agro-processors. This initiative is anticipated to result in an increase in both output and quality of agricultural products for domestic, regional, and international markets.
The land belongs to government, but the property was constructed by the investor. Our intention now is to acquire the building and to use it as an agro-processing facility to allow our agro-processors to have a place where they can come and process their agricultural products. Of course, there are some legal issues involved, so we are working through those legal issues, and once we are out of those legal issues and the acquisition take place, we can put in place our plan for the use of the building for our local agro-processors. If the legal matters can be resolved within a month or two, we can immediately afterwards start the process of redesigning and preparing the whole place for what we want to do. So let us say that, by the beginning of next year, we would like to see this place become fully operational.
Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Lennox Andrews. Chief Analytical Chemist at the Produce Chemist Lab, Irwin Henry, spoke to the inability of agro-processors to access sufficient equipment to support the agro-processing industry.
So at the Produce Chemist Lab in Tantine, we have a small pilot plant. Now that pilot plant is more for research and product development. But over the years, what we'll have seen that when persons come and do training at the Produce Chemist Lab and they see the equipment, they will ask to utilize the facility. But the facility, as I said, is a pilot facility. It's not really suitable for large-scale production. So what our intended purpose, is to, once persons have been trained and the product have been properly developed, then we'll have this facility properly equipped so persons can continue the agro-processing business utilizing this multi-purpose agro-processing facility.
Acting Chief Extension Officer Lawrence St. Louis elaborated on the facility's safety measures and its potential ripple effect on farmers, noting that increased production and minimal spoilage will benefit farmers across the board.
Once we have acquired the building and retrofitted it, then we would ensure that all of the food safety standards, that we up to all of those standards, and so the agro-processors will now have an opportunity to produce their goods in a place that is state-of-the-art as much as we can, and they'll be able to have storage. You'll be able to, more people will be able to come in because a lot of people are interested in agro-processing. However, they do not have any of the machinery and all of that stuff that they would have, so that they would need. So now they have an opportunity to use a facility that government would be making available to them. Of course, it will come at some minimal cost, and they will be able to get an opportunity to do that. It would also be a good thing for farmers on the other end, because they are the producers of all the raw materials that the agro-processors use. And so farmers now would have an opportunity to sell maybe some of their goods that wouldn't be market standard. Some of those other goods can go into agro-processors, and so we can have less waste and be more sustainable.
This is the GIS Evening Report. More news after the break.
Join the discussion on Grenada's revised national poultry policy. Stakeholders in the poultry industry are invited to a national consultation on May 16, 2024 at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort. This policy impacts farmers, businesses, and consumers alike. Your voice matters. Let's work together for a thriving poultry sector.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Education is collaborating with USAID for the implementation of the Youth Resilience, Inclusion and Empowerment Program and other initiatives. On Thursday, May 9th, the Ministry of Education facilitated a stakeholder consultation for the upcoming implementation of the Grenada Youth Mentorship Program, also known as WIRE, at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Annette Moore has more in this report.
On Thursday, May 9th, the Ministry of Education facilitated a stakeholder consultation for the upcoming implementation of the Grenada Youth Mentorship Program, also known as WIRE, at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Phelps Feely is the WIRE Chief of Party. She detailed the risk factors identified in a recent mixed methods research for youth in Grenada who might be heading towards or away from crime and violence.
Negative peer influence, family dysfunction, anxiety and depression, those sorts of things. And those exact risk factors are the ones that we focus on in terms of our program design and what we're trying to address. We're really interested in working with youth who often slip through the cracks, or often can't maintain attendance and participation and engagement with programming that isn't aimed specifically at supporting youth who are facing very significant challenges. And so we want to make sure that our programming does exactly that, and so that those youth also get the chance and to reach their potential and to become positive members of Grenadian society.
With regard to dealing with crime and violence among youth, Feely cited family and community support as the key to preventing youth from engaging in high-risk behaviors.
I think working with young people on a prevention basis, working with the young people who are already in a vulnerable place in their lives in terms of potentially heading towards engagement with crime and violence, is really a very effective way at addressing those issues. And so I think that from a kind of community standpoint, though, I think that one of the things that we hold as one of our principles, and that the research shows, is that families and communities can be a very powerful protective factor around those youth. And so I do think that there's a lot of potential in working with families and working with communities to act as those protective factors.
The Ministry of Education is collaborating with USAID for the implementation of the Youth Resilience, Inclusion and Empowerment Program and other initiatives. Johnny Caliste is the WIRE Program Manager.
The Youth Resilience, Inclusion and Empowerment Program is a 5-year program being implemented by USAID. It's part of the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, that is support to CARICOM nations, to support them in their endeavors to fight crime and violence, both at the regional level and at the local level. WIRE in particular is focused with supporting youth and working with the systems that support youth. So objectives include strengthening the support system that provide services to youth, working with school-age youth who are in the school, who have low school commitment, low self-esteem, developing programs to support them, developing youth who have left school for whatever reason, didn't get to complete, supporting them with skills training, TVET, psychological support, and internship opportunities to enter the workforce, and working with communities and parents and families to strengthen the family and community systems.
Chief Education Officer Dominic Jeremiah is pleased that this program is supporting the work of the Juvenile Administration Unit. He thinks it's an important intervention and praised the cross-section of stakeholders present, which included principals, school counselors, school attendance officers, and representatives from the Ministries of Social Development and Youth.
The Juvenile Department have been extremely active trying to look for alternative ways to deal with some of the challenges that we face in the school system. The program that is being presented today is certainly going to give the juvenile unit options that they can now explore to be able to support the work that is going on the ground in our schools across the country. So I'm proud of all the people who are here. I want to express my gratitude to USAID in particular, because they have been doing good work They are supporting the execution of the project, and so we want to thank them for their contribution in helping us shape and fashion the program that we know will benefit our system.
Considering the Government of Grenada's priority on reducing crime and violence among young people, one of WIRE's initiatives is a mentorship program. This will enhance educational outcomes for targeted youth. It will deliver individualized, risk-informed mentoring to youths who have encountered difficulties in their academic journey. Over a meticulously planned 7-month period, 25 mentors will guide 50 students attending secondary schools in WIRE-focused communities. Ernest Richardson is a school attendance officer at the Ministry of Education who sees positive gains coming from this program.
I think it would complement our work because some of the at-risk students that the program would identify, they fall in our purview. So I think definitely we would be able to help because some of the strategies that they have, the mentorship program, it really would help those at-risk students.
Richardson says he would also like to see a spirituality aspect added to the mentorship program to ensure that youth develop an appropriate moral compass. WIRE is expected to create a supportive environment for participants to openly address emotional hurdles, foster positive mental health discussions, and diminish delinquent activities through the use of positive role models. The WIRE program began in 2023 and is in its second year. Caliste gives details on its rollout.
We completed the community mapping, we completed the referral systems assessment, we completed a national risk assessment, and we're moving this year, year 2 and year 3, into programming. So, as you know, we're doing the consultation today for the mentorship program. We have a parenting program that we're also going to be rolling out. We currently have a workforce readiness program for youth between the ages of 16 to 24. We're going to be doing a music and sports program for youth at the community level for behavioral change and sports and music for peace.
This includes working with several stakeholders to provide training and capacity building. Kenny James, principal at the Grenada Boys Secondary School, participated in the consultation and is pleased with the endeavor, particularly its research-driven element.
Now it's clear that the challenges that we are experiencing has its root in community, in family relationships, and so on, and of course poverty. And we have to see how best we can work around that. Understanding that it positions us as educators, as administrators, to tailor the programs we have in school to further assist our students, and also to be part of this approach, which is a mentoring approach. So it's another tool in our toolkit as we attempt to engage and to transform the lives of the young men and women in our care.
James says monitoring and evaluation, as well as effective implementation, can ensure a significant long-term impact. School counselor Sally Charles Palmer is grateful for having the Grenada-specific research, and she is optimistic about the program's future impact.
It is a blessing to know what the research would have shown, and the programs that they're planning to implement will greatly help the school counselors as well as the teachers in adequately catering for the needs of the students. Yes, we have a lot of students at risk, and the mentorship program will help to kind of strengthen the support-based system so that they now have an extra person that they can rely on to kind of avoid some of the risks that are out there. Also allowing them to know that I am not alone. Even though I may not get the support at home, I may not get the support from friends, but here I have somebody who believes in me, somebody who is there to push me, somebody who is there to support me into being the person that I can be, despite all the negatives that is surrounding me.
We work with communities in St. George's, River Road right up to Willis, Belmont across to the valley, Mount Horn, St. Andrews, Black Bay right down to Guelph. So youth within those communities. So the parenting program that Wyrie is going to be rolling out is going to be the only of its kind among the countries that Wyrie is working in, that is Guyana, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago. It's going to be a program for about 4 months, where parents would be attached to parenting court. Of course, there are specially trained persons who would be recruited to support those parents. And we would be working with the parents of youth who are in various systems, the justice system, the social care system, etc. And parents who have been recognized, who need that additional support to deal with youth who might be engaged in antisocial behaviors.
The Wyrie program manager says sustainability plans are in place so that the achievements of the Wyrie program will continue. For the GIS Evening Report, I'm Annette Moore.
Miss Ayana Bartholomew has been appointed chair following the carriacou leg of the Sports Council elections. Miss Bartholomew will be assisted by Devon Matheson, vice chair, Mary Benjamin as secretary, and Terence Logan as treasurer. Lyle Booling, Lenroy Jack, and Cassandra Rock has been appointed as directors. The elections form the initial stage to promote the holistic development of sports on a parish level and nationally. The executive body or board of the directors will be paid a monthly stipend to spearhead the reform of sports in its parish. Bartholomew says the future of sports on the Sister Isle is bright. She hopes they will be able to harness the talent of the athletes to produce future Olympians.
My motto going forward, and has always been, securing the future of sports in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Too little, too long, we have been forsaken basically, but now, going forward as I stand firm at the helm, I hope that all opportunities that are given to the athletes in Grenada will be given just the same for Carriacou athletes, because we have natural talent here, and I intend to harness said talent so that we can have more Carifta and Olympic champions coming from our beautiful Carriacou. 2 students from my school, Jerry and Guy and Kelani Kwashi, those were the 2 athletes from Carriacou who were selected for Carifta 2024. And going forward, we hope that they would be the future Olympians for Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Sports coordinator Curlin Peters, CEO of the National Sports Council Alvin Clouden, Kadisha Ross, secretary of the Secretariat, supervisor and coordinator of election Glenn Alexander and Ray Roberts, respectively, attended the election in Carriacou. This brings us to the end of the GIS Evening Report for Monday, May 13th, 2024. I am Chris Ann Mitchell, saying thank you for joining us.